Hi, if you're interested in live streaming on 10/3/2019, it is on Sunday at 7 p.m. sharp, that's Indian Standard Time. You can join if you can just refer to your friends and chat your colleagues if you who want to join. The agenda of the live streaming will be on how are automotive industries and how what are the stuff you want to learn if you are a fresher or on your 2 years experience or if you are over experienced or if you want to switch from any other domain to automotive domain or in automotive you may what are the components that you can be work on, like what are the components will be very good at in future. And finally it would be a testing or development who would be have a great stuff, even the designers, yeah, everyone. So we can just discuss all those stuffs in the live streaming. So without wasting our time, we can go to tutorial. This the agenda of this tutorial is airbag. Yeah, it's really a sensitive topic in automotive industry, that it saves millions of lives. Yes. So what is airbag? How airbag exists? Simple block diagram, components, explanation on individual components, then working of the airbag, advancements in airbag, as it started from the day now it exists. Yeah, and now you guys can follow us on Instagram also. Or yes, I just mentioned the invite link in the description. And if you want to join our WhatsApp group, yeah, same, you can visit our description. You can welcome to the WhatsApp group to have technical discussions and interview schedules and so on. Yeah. Airbag. So what is airbag? It's just a device to inflate rapidly during collision or any accidents occurs. So inflate in the sense is just open up to save our life. Yes, but the basic principle behind it's a very simple physics principle, the Newton's first law of motion. When an object moving at constant velocity continue at the same velocity unless an external force acts upon them. So the simple principle behind airbag, every airbag. Yes. So before knowing to the airbag, you just want to understand what are the modules or what are the components present in the airbag. So the complete system consists it's a crash sensor, the ECU, and airbag system. There are only three components or three modules can be split up on the airbag working, so that we can just see individually so that you can easily understand the stuff. So first we'll start with the crash sensor. So this is how the crash sensor looks. So here we have three pins: out, in, and ground. So input and output, ground. I don't want to give more explanation about input, output, or ground. So this is how it looks. So what crash sensor do? Yes, crash sensor senses the sudden deceleration takes place during vehicle crash or an accident occurs. Then they also determine the position of the vehicles with respect to the road. So like how the position is, like is it inclination or top inclination or down inclination or hill, how it's a normal road can be determined. It will send to the ECU. Then airbag control unit has to receive one or more impulse from the sensor to deploy airbag. Yeah, so anyhow the airbag system have to deploy, that means it should inflate. So it have to collect the information from the crash sensor. What are the necessary information, like how fast the deceleration occurs, what is the position of the road. So these kind of stuff can be gathered from the crash sensor to the ECU. Then how airbag control unit, see here we can, if we go upon, yeah, see from crash sensor it goes to ECU, from ECU to airbag system. Now the crash sensor is to just sense the signal, that is the deceleration signals, and what is the position of the car, everything. Then it sends to the ECU process, and it will send to the airbag system. Yes, now what ECU do, see, this is how the airbag control unit, that is the ACU or ECU looks like. Yes, it's like attached ECU. Attached is the hydraulic component and the electronic component attached with each other. So airbag control unit, the airbag control unit detects and evaluates the severity of an accident and trigger the appropriate restraint system. So it will detect. So once the sensor has sends the signal to the ECU, that is ACU will detect. Sorry, it will evaluate how severe the accident is. If it is more severe, yes, it will immediately deploy. It will immediately order to deploy the airbag. Actually, ACU will not deploy airbag. It will just give a condition to inflate the airbag system. Yes, ACU gathered information from many sensors like acceleration sensor, wheel speed sensor, rotational speed sensor, and so on. The information gathered is used to evaluate and control the signals from other sensors. Yeah, once all the information satisfies, then ACU can give the controls to the airbag system to inflate the airbag. And finally, not only it will give a order to inflate, it also switch off all the most dangerous and critical sources of power or source of power leakage. So it will just it will off everything. It will switch off all those stuffs like interiors, like turn off the interiors who are what are the interiors have the power supply or fuel injections, throttle. So those kind of stuff can be like fuel pumps, engine, everything can be stopped by the ACU, as it will decrease the severity of the accident. Because if an accident occurs at the time, if fuel injectors or fuel pump also open, then the spark may occur, the sudden blast of the vehicle. So ACU has a take a responsibility to switch off all these kind of stuffs. Then, so this is how the airbag systems looks. So once ECU done, then it will send the signal to the ACU, sorry, that airbag control system. So in the airbag control system, have see here I have given the very small brief explanation or brief pictorial representation of the crash sensor to the airbag. See here, crash sensor, we have the crash sensor since the input to the ECU or ACU. The ECU will send them command to the inflator to start to burn, that is, it will start to ignite. It will not actually burn. There is a chemical process behind this that I will explain in the next slide. So once the particular chemical reaction started, then it give a product as nitrogen gas. The nitrogen gas will blow the nylon bag, that is an airbag. It will open and it will save the passenger or driver lives. So this entire process have to taken care within 0.4 seconds. That is the advancement the airbag industry done. It's not only 0.4, even some cars have 0.25 that was given in the spec. Yeah, so here again we are go in depth into the airbag system. In this, the inflator, so this is how the inflator looks like. See here, see, yeah, so here we have this is how the positive and negative. This is a battery, actually this is a battery supply. Once the airbag control system gives the order to ignite, then this circuit will close, then it will start to give the voltage. So once this positive and negative voltage given here, so in this pin, inside this we have the chemical called the sodium azide. This is a chemical name. So the sodium azide will present inside this. Once this sodium azide will get the ignite, and it split to the nitrogen gas and the sodium. See, this nitrogen gas will blow the airbag that is made up of nylon, and the airbag opens. So this is how the complete airbag works. So here we have what are the other stuffs in the airbag. So powder, that is talcum powder, or some corn powder will be there for to just avoid the if it is old, it will just for lubrication they have used the powder to not to stick with one another for the lubrication. Then airbag, it is made up of nylon. Then ignition plug, this is what we have seen here, the ignition plug. It is, see, this is what the ignition plug. And yeah, then sodium azide is a chemical which is inside the airbag, that is a nylon cover. So once the sodium azide get in touch with the battery supply, then so once the sodium azide get in touch with the power supply, then it will give the products as sodium plus nitrogen gas. Yes, this nitrogen gas blow up the nylon cover. It will become, it will inflate, it will save the stuff. So this is a very if I want to give a very small recap, I can take this picture. See, the crash sensor will detect the crash, then it sends the input to the ECU will just evaluate how the accident is. Then once if it decides it is an accident, it will immediately give a control to the inflate system, that is to airbag system. It inflate the airbag. There it will close one circuit. In that circuit, the positive and negative it just reaches the sodium azide. The sodium azide gives the product as nitrogen and sodium. The nitrogen, that to nitrogen gas, the nitrogen gas blows the nylon bag. It is called the airbag, which saves the human lives. This entire process should be ended within 0.25 seconds in the modern car. If it is a normal, it's a moderate car, it will be at least 0.80, that is within 1 second. It was an expectation. So this is a very simple, this is very briefly I explained. So yes, if you have any queries, you can leave a comment. And the next video on lin bus, that is part 2. We have a couple of tutorials ago we have done with the lin bus part 1, and I have a very good response for that. Yes, the next tutorial will be on lin bus part 2.